What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown Sportscast. I'm your good friend and host, Corey Willis. Hope everyone out there is doing well on a Sunday evening. Hope you guys enjoyed a great week 8 of college football out there. So, yeah, guys, I hope everyone is doing well on a Sunday. As always, guys, we appreciate you all. As always, what you do here on the Breakdown Sportscast. If you want to definitely follow us, you know where to find us. We're on multiple um, applications, social media forums, of course. You want to find us on X, Instagram, TikTok. Find us at BD Sportscast. You can find all our content there. You want to listen to all of our past and present episodes of the Breakdown Sportscast. You also know where to find us. We're on the Apple Podcast, we're on Spotify, Amazon Music, you name it, we are on there. And also, if you're tuning in to our YouTube channel, to our simulcast on our YouTube channel here, or our Twitch channel at Breakdown Video Game Cast, where Chris and I are playing some video games, we appreciate that as well. So feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the show. It's definitely important for Chris as we continue to build and grow this community, this great community that we have here. And yeah, tell your friends as well. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. If we can get to 100 subscribers, guys, we will definitely put your name in for a raffle for a potential T-shirt of your schools, of your favorite school out there. So, and to show your school spirit, we want to be a part of that. So, yeah, definitely, guys, subscribe, let your friends know. Hey, we very much appreciate it. We love doing, um, this content with you guys talking college football. So, yeah, definitely be a part of something special here that we're growing. As always, guys, you know who I'm with. I'm with my good friend and co-host. He is Chris Bolton. Chris, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, nothing much. Just enjoying the weekend. We had us, another chaotic Saturday as we anticipated it being. Things were lit. It's the crazy weekend, crazy Saturday. But I'm ready to talk all about it, man. We got a lot went down on Saturday and even on today. There's been a lot going down too.
Indeed. Yeah, it's definitely a wild 24 hours, Chris. A lot has went on. A lot of changes, of course, in terms of top 25 and coaching changes. And I mean, look, we gotta go ahead and kick it off with a bang in terms of the coaching changes. So I mean, we'll go ahead and get into it, Chris. Yes, Florida has fired head coach Billy Napier after was it, a 3-4 start this season. Yeah, this I had got this news, Chris, probably around like 11-ish, 11 or 12 Central Time. I started hearing the rumblings that something was going to happen in terms of Billy Napier's job security, and they said that they were going to have a whole team meeting. So when that happens, when you hear words on that, Chris, it's usually the shoe is about to drop. And probably right around like 1:30 ish is when like ESPN and other places started to um, credible places started to announce the firing of Billy Napier. So yeah, he's now out after a 3-4 start. Just didn't go well in the way that I know Billy Napier had wanted it to go, Chris. And now Florida's going to be looking for a new head coach in the coming weeks. I'm sure they already have a list. They've probably been having a list for a while now. So overall, what are your thoughts about the firing of Billy Napier from Florida?
Yeah, I had I assumed yesterday while watching the game that he was going to be fired. It was just a matter of time for the announcement. Um, the way Mississippi State played Florida, and arguably, everybody knows State really should have won that game. It didn't matter that Florida won. The fans were already chanting "Fire Billy." You hear it through the TV. Um, you knew it was time. 22-23 in 3 seasons with the Gators. Just could never break through. He never wanted to relinquish his play calling duties as well. And I think that was to his demise. Because play calling has been if you ask a lot of people around Florida, has been the biggest problem for the Gators. It isn't talent, it's the execution and the scheme. And so, yeah, Florida wipes their hands with Billy. And I'm sure they have a list, like you said, a list of people that they will be in contact with, or their agents at least, since you can't probably talk to the standing coaches at the moment as they are in the middle of the season. But Florida will look to make some moves, and I anticipate Lane Kiffin being number one on the list, and we'll see how that plays out. Lane was somebody that got around. He'd bounce around to different coaching jobs early on in his time. He's settled down a little bit now, but we'll see if Florida will be able to pry him away from Ole Miss. But I think it's a good move for Florida because it wasn't going to work. It wasn't working.
Yeah, it just wasn't working after so long, Chris. And yeah, like you watching that game on Saturday, yeah, all signs were, Mississippi State was going to win that ball game, and that was going to be curtains for Billy Napier, as the Florida head football coach. And look, they won that game with the thanks to Blake Shapen. And look what happened. They still fired Billy Napier. So they had already had this, in the tuck. They had already knew what they wanted to do. It didn't matter what athletic director Scott Strickland, who used to be at Mississippi State, who is a Mississippi State alum, how how all that comes together is just ridiculous. But him coming out and saying, that all of those things were false. Look, they already knew what they wanted to do, and now it's happened. So, yeah, I'm sure a guy like Lane Kiffin and a couple other people are going to be definitely getting some calls about this job in the coming weeks, in the coming months, because yeah, you wanna do everything you can to keep the fan base at ease, keep the recruits at ease, honestly, and letting these guys know that a new guys is coming to town.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, if it is a guy like Lane Kiffin, if it is a guy out there, whoever that may be, I mean there are some potential names that could take the job. Maybe a Silverfield may get some looks. Who knows? They will definitely get their name called. They will definitely be working through the channels to get something together. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Billy Napier out after 3 seasons as the Florida head football coach. So yeah, we'll see what happens, Chris. But yeah, that was definitely something we saw that was coming.
Yeah, everybody saw that coming. So it just was a matter of time, and there's still a few more dominoes to fall. We're just getting started. There's other jobs that I think we anticipate opening up soon, based on some of the things being reported and our deductive reasoning based on some of the on-field performances we've seen too.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. Other head coaching firings, of course, Jay Norvell of Colorado State. He also got ousted out of Colorado State. So now Colorado State's going to be looking for another head coach. So look, you got all these really talented coordinators and stuff out here trying to look for probably a good footing in a G5 school. Colorado State's had some good success, and unfortunately, Jay Norville couldn't get it done there as well. So all of the shakeup is definitely happening across college football, Chris. And knowing what we saw this week, it's not going to stop.
No, not at all, not one bit.
So yeah, man. But yeah. Those are some of the few little breaking news notes that we wanted to chime in with you good folks out there. So other than that, Chris, week eight results. You're all ready to delve in on the week that was?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's go ahead and talk about week 8 of the college football season. Let's go ahead and kick it off, Chris, with the game on Friday. I want to get your thoughts on this more extensively. Louisville traveled to Miami on Friday night, and they beat the Hurricanes, Chris. 24-21 was your final in this ball game. Louisville, Coach Brum, he definitely knows how to win. Wherever he's at, he knows how to put really good teams out there, Chris. And they capitalized off the mistakes that Miami made in that game, and they got the W. A great win by Jeff Brum and company. And now Louisville is looking like a threat, a legitimate threat in the ACC, Chris. So what were your thoughts about Louisville's victory over Miami on Friday night?
It's a ACC on a Friday night. Chaos. We saw Virginia take down Florida State. We saw now Louisville beating Miami. And it's honestly kind of predictable. This is we were waiting to see, is Miami different? And the same things that happened last season happened in this game. Mario Cristobal and has a more talented team. You're at home, and you continue to shoot yourselves in the foot. This has been Miami's MO since Cristobal's gotten there. We had not forgotten that Georgia Tech game where you outright just gave Georgia Tech the game because of incompetent coaching.
That was the start.
That was the start of it all, yeah. And in this ball game in particular, Louisville did make some plays, like that first interception where the linebacker for the Cardinals just makes a crazy grab. That they made a play with that one, but and then also at the end, I feel like the Cardinals made a play, but Miami just Carson Beck 4 interceptions. He fit right on in with this team in regards to finding ways to lose this game. You're hard pressed to win a game where you have 4 interceptions, and you were right there to tie the game up, to send this to OT. You were in Cardinal territory. You were driving. You can't have that happen. And credit to Louisville for making the necessary plays, but man, it's so funny because Miami's just going to Miami. I mean, this is just like Mississippi State's going to Mississippi State and find ways to lose. It just seems like certain programs just have an MO, and no matter what year, what season it is, they're going to do what they normally do, and Miami just can't help it themselves.
Yeah, and look, it's definitely alarming to see that, Chris. And look, after that loss, people started talking about like, hey, this is their first loss. Looking at their schedule, can they control their destiny in a way where they can still get back into it? It doesn't really seem that easy for Miami. That's what makes this loss so significant, because they don't play Virginia, and I think they don't play Let me look at their schedule just to
They
make
don't
sure.
play Georgia Tech.
Yeah, they don't play Georgia Tech. Not sure about SMU. But let me see. I am getting their schedule right now. So they do play SMU. So, you got that going for you. Yeah, you got to play Stanford next week. And, good luck with that after what we saw, what they did to Florida State. Yeah, it's, the path to a potential ACC championship run. It's there, but it's not as easy as if you had just handled your business and beat the teams that you needed to beat. Now you need some help. Can that happen? Maybe. We'll see. But it's like what you said just now, Chris. Miami always puts themselves in this position to shoot themselves in the foot and be on the outside looking in at the end of things. That's not a winning mentality. That's not winning football. And the fans see that. And
Yeah.
I don't know how they can get themselves out of it this season, except with a lot of help.
Yeah, they gotta tighten up, man. It's still a really talented team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see how they how they respond to this loss, because Carson Beck seems like he put his receiver under the bus in the press conference after the game. And you know, this is a team. I know you were paid. It's like you're a mercenary. You were brought in to be the quarterback. Maybe you aren't as locked in with these guys as say you were with the Georgia teammates, since that was your initial program that you went to. But even if you are a mercenary and you're just coming for as a rental, if you're trying to win, you can't be throwing your teammates under the bus. So I'm curious to see how that jives with the rest of the team and just how they perform going forward. Because it's one thing to lose, it's another to talk to kind of put your teammates down following the loss. So are you really that senior leader, that leader that this team needs to play up to his potential? We're going to find out.
Yeah, we are. We are. And look, you're heading towards that territory again. Just like you were at Georgia. Um, yeah, this is the moment right here for Carson Beck where your team needs you. You need to be the leader. You got to act like it. So, will he do it? We'll see. We'll see. There's still a lot left to be played. A lot more games to be played this season, and yeah, he'll definitely have those opportunities. But in these instances, like you said, Chris, he needs to show up and be that leader, and to help guide these guys through adversity. So we'll see what happens. But definitely an eye-opening loss to start week 8 of this past weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But yeah, anything else you want to add to this game, Chris, before we move on?
No, sir.
All right. Moving along, we'll head into the Saturday games out there. Ole Miss taking on Georgia was your premier ABC game, one of your ABC premier games of the week. Georgia won this game between the hedges, Chris. 43-35 was your final. And hey, in a game where not much defense was being played, but it was a ton of offense, Georgia needed to win at home, and that they did. Got a shout out to Kirby Smart, to Gunnar Stockton, just this Georgia team in general, by finding a way to win, even through having that adversity where they just wasn't stopping Ole Miss. Ole Miss looked like a well-oiled machine in this game, and they dug deep to stop the Rebels. And hey, I tip my cap off to the Bulldogs. They took care of business in this one. So, what were your thoughts about this game over the weekend, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss first 5 drives of the game, 5 touchdowns. I
It's a
mean,
lot.
it looked like what Georgia. What you gonna do? You gonna keep just letting them drive the ball downfield in the short passing game, and find get these touchdowns because that's what they were doing. But eventually, Ole Miss wasn't able to sustain the drives, and Georgia took advantage. Corey, in every possession of this game, except the final possession for Georgia, where they kneeled the game out, they scored. Whether
Yeah,
it was a field goal or a touchdown, Georgia scored. Um, Gunner Stockton, way to put the team on your back. Uh, all 5 of Georgia's touchdowns were involving him. I mean, he had an amazing game, and if you're a Georgia fan, you feel better knowing that this guy can go out here and if you got to sling it out and put points on the board, he can do so. And maybe it's kind of similar to how things used to be with Alabama in the sense of maybe years ago you were winning games because of your defense and the offense just doing enough. It's not that same college football anymore. So maybe your defense just has to make enough plays, but your offense is going to carry. And looks like that's the way Georgia's going to win this year. And so we'll see how that plays out in the long run. But big win for the Bulldogs. You saw Georgia able to run the football, which was a problem. And you saw Georgia able to stop the run. Held Ole Miss to its lowest yardage rushing the ball this year, 88 yards. So that's a plus. So there is some hope for this Bulldogs team to really be able to compete with the best. Um, and this was a much needed win for Georgia, following losing to Bama at home. You took care of business on your home field again against this very tough Ole Miss team. So I feel like you're in a good position going forward to make the playoff.
yeah, yeah. I think they are as well, Chris. Um, it's just a gutsy performance from them. Ole Miss, the LSU found out the hard way. They can get you, and they'll make sure that they can stay ahead when they have the opportunity to. Georgia knew that going in. They saw what happened to them last year, and it was interesting in watching this game because last year I don't think Georgia was in. You can look at Ole Miss last year, especially their defense. You can say they were much better than they are this year. I don't think they were prepared in how the way Lane Kiffin structures this offense to go as fast as they can to chew up as much time as possible to the point where you don't even have an opportunity to come back and win. And they showed that last year taking on Georgia, where they made sure the game was short. They went after it on defense, and next thing you know, you looking up at the scoreboard and you don't have enough time to come back. On top of you not playing this game in Athens. This year, they seem like they learned from that and they said, look, we're going to try to replicate that for our team. And it actually did work well enough. You still couldn't
Mm-hmm.
stop Ole Miss. Offense is just too potent. But for the most part, you did make the necessary stops that you needed to make in order to slow them down just enough at the main points of the ball game. And I think that's what's important in this Georgia win. They figured it out. And that's why we're sitting here on a Sunday evening talking about their victory.
Yeah, yeah. Credit to the Bulldogs. You got a big win, and you took Ole Miss's best punch offensively, and you eventually you broke them down, you wore them down, and you were able to sustain your offense in the second half. So we'll see, how things play out for both teams. But at least if you're Ole Miss, at least this is your first loss of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna suffer your first loss of the season, might as well be at Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't have it any other way. No, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. You could lose to
You can
South
lose to
Carolina.
Kentucky,
You can lose to Kentucky.
like you did last year.
Yeah. So yeah, losing to Georgia isn't a bad thing. We'll see what happens with them next week. We'll talk about their game against Oklahoma, another game that they have to travel to. It doesn't get any easier. We'll see who has the upper edge in that. Is John Mateer ready for a game like that? Is his defense, that Oklahoma defense, ready for a game like that? We'll see. We'll see. It's
Mm-hmm.
a big opportunity for both teams for sure. Coming up this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, man. Anything else, Chris, you want to add to this game before we move on?
No.
All right. Well, moving along, we have another game in the SEC that happened over the weekend, Chris. This game, I was tuning into this one here and there. Tennessee taking on Alabama, the third Saturday in October. This game was supposed to be a little bit more interesting than what it became. But hey, this is a story that me and you have been talking about, Chris. Alabama looking as dominant than they have been since that first game of the season against Florida State. They came out here, beat Tennessee 37-20. Alabama's humming. This is a dangerous Alabama football team that Kalen DeBoer has assembled. Everybody's playing like out of their mind right now. Ryan Williams, I'm seeing this guy making unbelievable catches once again, but a guy that's definitely starting to grow up before our eyes. We're seeing it. Just an amazing win from the Crimson Tide over this weekend, Chris. And now I'm looking at Alabama right up there with A&M. I would definitely say Alabama is better than A&M at this point of the season. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. They just look like the more complete team in the SEC right now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's Alabama took care of business. You're at home, and this is a very talented team. One of the more talented teams in the nation, just loaded at all levels. And Tennessee didn't execute. You're right there at the goal line. You throw a pick six. You're not going to win on the road at Alabama throwing pick sixes. So Tennessee had its opportunities to make this game tighter. They just didn't execute as well as Alabama did in this one. Ty Simpson continues to play good football. Like you said, receivers were making plays. Ryan Williams making catches. This Alabama team, and the defense was good too. Was improved in this one. So if you make mistakes, I think the margins are thin against this Alabama team because they'll make you pay, whether it's immediately by getting a pick six or if you put their offense in position to score a touchdown with the short field with these receivers. they're going to make it happen. So teams got to come ready to play Alabama. Now Alabama hits the road this upcoming week. This week at South Carolina. It's Cocktober, Corey. So they got to be careful. And we talk about coaches and jobs being on the line. There was a lot riding on this season for Shane Beamer, and things have not played out like South Carolina fans, Gamecock fans would have liked this so far. You're going to get South Carolina's best punch in this game. Now, I'm not saying it'll be enough to win, but we have seen this team under Kalen DeBoer struggle when they are big-time favorites against unranked teams. South Carolina will not be ranked. Can you sustain what you have shown you can be this season? Have you turned the corner when it comes to being a big favorite against unranked teams? That's what I want to see this weekend, because South Carolina's going to bring it.
Yeah, and I think that is definitely something that Kalen DeBoer and company are going to definitely instill in these guys. I would hope that they would this week, because they don't want to look up and end up being a Vanderbilt situation again from last season. And this game
what this would be
that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, South Carolina they're definitely going to be a desperate football team going in this game. Am I saying that they're going to just outright win? I'm not saying that, but if Alabama goes into that game thinking that it's going to be an easy one, I don't think they should do that. I don't think they will go into that, but just to caution, proceed with caution on this one, because you never know at this point. With South Carolina or any of the teams at the bottom in the SEC, you got to come in and show out each and every week. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Crimson Tide, but from what I'm gauging right now, Bama's looking great right now. Ty Simpson, and I see one of our listeners in our YouTube chat, AR4L17 says, Roll Tide, our defense played lights out, and Ty Simpson, his field control is insane also. I agree with you, AR. I think everything you said about Ty Simpson right now, spot on. And I think that's one of the reasons, Chris, why if I had a vote for the Heisman, I'm putting him right at the top of that list right now, because he has controlled this offense like just a polished conductor of a train. He looks like the leader of this offense, and he's demanding the excellence, and he's getting it out of these players right now. If I'm Kalen DeBoer, I would be very much pleased with what I'm seeing right now, and he just needs to continue doing that, especially in a game next week going up against South Carolina, where you're going to be at South Carolina. You gotta come out all hands on deck with a serious attitude to continue what you're doing, because right now you're playing some really good football.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So big shout out to Alabama for being able to light the cigars. You got the big win against your rival, and we'll see out Tennessee kind of how they answer, how they bounce back, because this is a tough loss for them. You trying to make the playoff. That margin of error is getting thinner by the L. This is a second L, and arguably you could have a third if things play out a little differently in Starkville. So you got some things to correct and tighten up in Knoxville.
Agreed. Agree. I mean, looking at their schedule, Chris, they have to play Kentucky, have to travel to Kentucky, coming up this Saturday. I think you
You
probably
still got Vandy.
chalk it up as a win, but who knows? Still got
Mm-hmm.
Vandy at the end of the season. You gotta go to Florida. I mean, Billy Napier is
Yeah.
going, but who knows?
You get the interim coach bump. Teams play out their mind after they fire their coach.
Yeah. I mean, just look at UCLA. Look what they're doing right now. Yeah, I don't think
3
I want to go
straight.
to the Rose Bowl. I don't want to go play those guys. They're scary.
Hey, you like exactly. So yeah, you better get right. Better
Yeah,
get right. Still got some tough games. It's the SEC.
yeah. You got to come to play ball each and every week because from the top to the bottom, you can get got in this league. So, you gotta come with your game face. Have your game face on. So we'll see
Exactly.
what happens with both Tennessee and Alabama. But props to the Crimson Tide by getting that big W this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Anything else, Chris, you'd like to add about this game before we move on?
No.
All right. And our final premier game of the week before we head into our other games, we have LSU taking on Vanderbilt. This game kicked off the day, Chris. And would you look at that? 31-24 was your final. Vanderbilt gets their first win over the Tigers since 1990. 1990, 3 years before I was born.
Hey man, Vandy did what they needed to do. They controlled this game from go.
Mm-hmm.
This was this flow and rhythm of the game was Vanderbilt to a T. They controlled the ball, time of possession. Diego Pavia played within himself.
Yeah,
made plays when presented, and a lot of the plays that were made by him were with his leg. His legs, he was able to run. There's no thinking when you're running, Corey. You don't have to do too much. You just see you see the green grass. Let me go pick up these yards. And you see the end zone. Let me go get in the end zone. That's what Diego Pavia was doing his Johnny Manziel Jr. Best little Johnny impersonation. So he did his thing. This Vanderbilt defense plays solid football as well. And I'll give credit to LSU, despite their problems offensively, and they are still very prevalent. I will not. We're not going to stray away from that. Those problems are still prevalent in the offense. They played better. This game could have actually been worse, Corey. Like LSU's offense was actually solid at times in this one. They put up points for going back and forth with Vanderbilt early on. But it just wasn't enough. And Brian Kelly, for the talent that you put on this field every Saturday, you got some questions to answer, buddy. Your time, you are on the clock. And if you don't get this figured out, because this schedule does not get any easier for the LSU. If you don't get this offense figured out, and I mean yesterday, not today, this should have been figured out yesterday. You won't be the head coach at LSU much longer if you don't make the playoff. You got one more game left, Corey, that you might can lose, which will put you at 3 losses. If you lose 4, I'm telling you now, you're going to get that Pete Nakos tweet. You're going to get that Thamel tweet. You're going to get all them guys going to be tweeting out. You might even get Schefter breaking the news. You ain't going to be the head coach in 2026 if you lose 4 games, Brian Kelly. So get it figured out ASAP.
Wow. And you're not lying. It's just because this team had so much promise going into the preseason, Chris. We had heard it. Fans were talking about it. all of these receivers, and I know vividly you were excited to see this offense ball out with all of the bevy of receivers that they had. Like this, think if you had the Joe Burrow days, that national championship LSU team with like a couple more Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson-esque players. Like I'm looking at that. I'm like, hey, get ready for another party down there in Baton Rouge, potentially. That's not the case. They've regressed. Gary Nussmeier's regressed. On top of his injury being a catalyst of why LSU has been where they're at this season. It's just a mess, Chris, of epic proportions. It's not what a lot of LSU fans had envisioned. And now it does look like the bottom has started to fall off. And, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. And it doesn't get any easier, Chris, because coming up this Saturday, you got to play up against Texas A&M, a team that's, they smell blood. Mike Elko smells blood. Good luck, because hey, you lose that game, that's 3, and you still haven't played Bama.
You got Bama still. You got Oklahoma still.
Yeah. Well, at this point, should we be looking at LSU's schedule and say it's the hardest schedule in the country?
Oh, it's tough. It's very tough, very difficult, and
just
you
saying.
Play at Oklahoma. Yeah. You got some real tough ones on here, man.
Sure. Arkansas ain't that easy.
No,
knowing how you've been playing.
They might not win, but they're gonna make you. They're gonna make you earn it.
They're gonna make you work for it.
Nah, you're right, Corey. So this is quite the predicament. I think if you're LSU, you gotta. Caden Durham is a very good running back, but you got to kind of make up for some of the. You're struggling to execute. You need to go ahead and put Harlan Berry out there more. I think it's time. The top rate high school running back recruit, one of the fastest players on your team as well, just a elite athlete, has the burst and the speed to house any carry. You got to make things easier on yourself. If you mess around, y'all block right, and you get that hole, you need somebody out there that's going to take it to the crib, so y'all ain't got to worry about trying to execute, because you got the touchdown. That's less plays you got to be perfect for. Go ahead and put him out there some more and see what he can do, because it's desperate times call for desperate measures. And I'm going to sound the alarm, and I'm going to just go ahead and say you need to put Harlan Berry out there some more, a lot more. He needs to take the majority of the carries.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's reminiscent of what we're seeing right now, with our Mississippi State Bulldogs, at the quarterback position. A position that's even more important as the running back position. Put a guy like Camario Taylor out there. So yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I mean, the running back room in these life. You thought you would get Durham to be one of your top runners. Really hasn't happened this season. And of course, he's battled with his injuries as well. So, yeah, it's a lot of bad luck, but a lot of, I'd say a lot of oversight from Brian Kelly as well. And that's one of the reasons why they are in the position that they are in right now. And he's the only guy to get them out of this situation. Can he do it? Maybe, but it's going to come down to how much he wants to be stubborn about this. His team isn't playing well, and not as well as they should.
No,
so
they aren't. But Vandy is. And Corey, before we move on, I just want to say real quick, Vanderbilt can very well make the playoff. I don't think Vanderbilt is out of the SEC championship race either. I know they lost to Bama, but this team can very well beat Tennessee. They got a challenge against Missouri at home this weekend. They can beat Missouri, a team that just went, toe to toe overtime battle with Auburn. You know, Vandy can beat Missouri very well, and who's to say this team can mess around and just win the rest of their games in this regular season? That's very realistic. It sounds crazy, y'all, but Vandy is legit. Vandy is here. I just want to stress that this ain't just Vandy. They beat a struggling LSU team. No, Vandy is legit. And I will drive this home every weekend. Vandy is one of the best teams in the nation.
They're playing some really good football right now. Like when you watch a Vandy game, and never would I imagine watching Vanderbilt and looking at the crowd, looking at all of the additions that they've made to their stadium, just looking at the team and how they've been playing. Like, people are excited about watching football at Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely been a long time coming, and they've definitely come a long way with making that team what they are today. They definitely have a shot, and the props to Clark Lee with what he's done with that program and getting them, there, and getting them physically and mentally prepared to go into a gauntlet in the SEC each and every week, and showcase why they deserve the respect too. And look, I'm gonna give them the respect. They've been playing lights out. They're playing some really good football right now, Chris. So I'm definitely with you on that one.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, man. But yeah, great victory by the Commodores, and yeah, we'll definitely see what they can do to string up some more wins potentially and try to make a case for a college football playoff berth. But a good win for them, and we'll see what happens with LSU. So, anything else, Chris, you want to add about this game before we move on?
No, sir.
All right. Well, now, folks, before we head out of here on today's show, we got a couple other results, and then we'll get to our chief of the week. But we'll start off with a couple of other results from week 8. We'll start off with Texas Tech traveling to Arizona State, Chris. 22-26. Arizona State wins at home. Kenny Dillingham was pleased with what he saw from his team. He talked about how, the guys going through adversity this season and finding a way. Sam Levitt, he was out with an injury. He had came back into this game this past Saturday and helped them win. Overall, Chris, shout out to Arizona State finding a way to beat Texas Tech, because they came in this game they were ranked 7 in the country, and hey, shout out to the Sun Devils by getting a victory like that, because I'm sure a lot of people in the country were thinking there's no way that they're going to stop Texas Tech with what they've been able to accomplish so far this season.
Yeah, no, big win for Arizona State. You look at yourself. I mean, we are the defending champs in the conference. So this was a game where you just would make sure everybody remembers that by beating the team that looks like they are the best team in the conference. It's kind of feels like a Chiefs Bills kind of situation where the Chiefs have to remind everybody, yeah, they got the better record, but we still the Chiefs now. It kind of felt like that with Arizona State in this one. Your defense stepped up to the plate, made things tough for Hammond, backup quarterback for Tech, who looks to be he's a very talented QB. but your defense made life difficult for them. Sam Levitt took care of the ball. No interceptions in this one. That was big. Found Jordan Tyson a lot. That helps too. So everything that you wanted to do. If you're Arizona State, you did in this one, and led to a victory. So credit to the Sun Devils.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely credit to the Sun Devils indeed by getting a win like this one. Like, yeah, defending Big 12 champions, going into this game, a lot of people, probably Vegas, us, we've been talking about Texas Tech this season. Been playing lights out, and yeah, Baron Morton did play this game. I definitely thought that Will Hammond was going to make much of a difference in Texas Tech um, being a threat in this ball game, but Arizona State, they found a way to block out the noise and win this ball game. And hey, you gotta take the wins where you can get them and capitalize off of them, and that's what they did. It didn't matter who was out there playing quarterback for Texas Tech. They still had to stop that offense, and that they did when they needed to. So yeah, definitely props to the Sun Devils by getting that victory over the weekend. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we had that game, Chris. Anything else you wanted to add to this game?
No.
Okay. We'll move on. USC taking on Notre Dame. This was a premier matchup that I kind of had on the list last week, and Notre Dame took care of business against USC. 34-24 was your final in this one, Chris. Notre Dame, they're finding ways to win ball games. It doesn't always look as pretty, but Fighting Irish are still fighting, and Marcus Freeman is still trying to get these guys back to another 12-team playoff berth. So, good game overall, Chris, between these two. We knew it would be right around this score.
Yeah. USC just you still made mistakes. A couple picks from Iava. It's just you're not going to win a game like this with mistakes against Notre Dame. Notre Dame ran the ball very well. Jeremiah Love over 200 yards in this one. Just was a man amongst boys, an absolute unit. He was the truth in this one. And if you tell me Notre Dame's running for 200 plus, I don't care what CJ Carr's doing. He could throw bonehead interceptions in the red zone. Notre Dame's still going to be in position to win, and that they were in this one. And it's a good team. It's a good team. You like to see more from Carr. I'm sure we'll continue to see him play better as the season continues. I mean, this is a redshirt freshman. We're talking about Corey. He's a young QB, very talented. Still a lot of ball for him to learn. But Notre Dame, good ball club, did what they needed to do. And overall, we talked about the physicality, man. USC still trying to get all the way there. And the way Notre Dame plays ball, they thrive off that physicality. So, they definitely asserted themselves in this one.
That they did. And yeah, I know some people, maybe counting out Notre Dame and saying, I don't think Notre Dame is worth it this year. I'm not gonna count out Notre Dame. I think losing to Miami was the first game of the season. You still have a heck of great players, like you said, Chris. CJ Carr is a young player. He's only going to get better with time. Jeremiah Love is an amazing running back, one of the great running backs in the country right now. It that was a minor setback, but so far, they've been finding ways to win ball games. You may not like all the ball games that they've been playing in, but overall, they're finding ways to win. And I'm not gonna count these guys out just yet in trying to squeeze into a playoff berth because I think they can, and I think they can play some good football down the stretch if given the opportunity. They just have to seize the moment and take care of business.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. So yeah. Anything else you want to add to this game? All right.
No.
Cool. We got a few more. Um, Missouri, Chris, took on Auburn on Saturday. 23-17 was your final. Missouri squeezes out a victory in this one in overtime. Might I add? Well, I saw the end of this game, Chris, and I'm just kind of floored by what I've seen this season from Auburn. We talk about teams around the country, teams in the SEC. Hugh Freeze's Auburn team this season, they are stinky, as you like to say, good sir. Can't muster up an offense worth a damn, and it's unfortunate if you're an Auburn fan. So, what were your thoughts about this game, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, you had your chances to win it, home game. Um, the defense played well enough to win. Offense just couldn't make enough plays, and it looks like Hugh Freeze is checked out. The interesting thing is Auburn's schedule coming up isn't that difficult. So we'll see if this team is really checked out or not if they lose their next game. Because they got a little stretch where they can string some wins together. But you needed this one though. You really did need this one. So I think we'll see. If Auburn loses its next game, I don't see Hugh Freeze finishing the season. If they can get some wins and win about 3 straight before you mess around and have to play at Alabama. Oh, before you play Alabama. And show some life before the Iron Bowl, he might could finish out the season. But it ain't looking good for Hugh. He's got to finish strong. It's go time now, for real.
Yeah, it is. And look, I don't see him making it throughout the rest of the season either, honestly, because man, he's been there about the same amount of time as Billy Napier was there in Florida, and look what they did to Billy Napier. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I see some Auburn fans, kind of, making the hope that hey, you're recruiting pretty well. You can win here, this, that, and the third. I'm just not seeing it with Hugh Freeze. I mean, you look at him on the sideline a lot of times. This man looks stressed out, Chris. Maybe it's just me, but
no, he's going through it. He's feeling it.
He's feeling it.
When he got fired at Ole Miss, it was kind of out the blue.
Yeah.
Everything escalated so quickly, so we didn't see Hugh stressed out like this.
Right. This is a different level of stress. Like he seems like he's reeling it. He's reeling through it, and yeah, you lose against Arkansas coming up, and that's gonna be something else if you can't win that ball game, and you're gonna have to answer to the fans and to the boosters about that. So we'll see what happens.
He'd have to answer that night. then he'll have to answer another phone call that next day.
Unfortunately. So, hey, it feels like the clock is ticking down there in the plains.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see what happens, Chris. But anything else you want to add to this game?
No.
Okay. Eli Drink was celebrating like he had won the Super Bowl out of this game. Like, never changed, Eli. Never changed. Oh man. And then the last one, Chris, and mentioning Arkansas, Texas A&M. They don't play this game anymore in a neutral site field in Cowboys Stadium. I actually kind of like that. But they played this game um, at Arkansas. 45-42 was your final. Texas A&M squeezed out of this game with a victory, Chris. I gotta say, Texas A&M, they keep finding ways to win. At this point, I'm just asking myself, you know, are they for real, or are they just getting lucky half the time each week?
Yeah, no, they are for real. It's they're a good team, but it's just this is the landscape of college football this year, Corey. Any
Yeah,
given Saturday, you gonna have to earn it, man. Everybody's got to earn it. So A&M's a good team. Probably will make the playoff. We'll see. But and Arkansas is a talented team. Arkansas's got some guys.
mm-hmm.
You know, Coach Petrino's coaching for a job. He's trying to. He don't want to just be the interim. Yeah, he. This was the plan all along. They did. Let's see if we can get Sam up out of here. Let me spread my wings and show them why they need to go ahead and put me back at the head coaching spot. He almost got his signature win, but I feel like Arkansas is going to bring it every weekend, honestly, because he's coaching for a job. But yeah, A&M's a good team. This is just it's just another week in SEC. That's how I look at it. I don't think there's anything to take away from A&M saying their stock should go lower. You were in a dogfight with Arkansas. Everybody's going to be, I feel like, have their weekend where they just find a way to win. No, from number one to number 101. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what college football is. So just shout out to A&M for actually winning. Because a game like this, we know they would have lost in the past.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Chris. I think what I've kind of grown to see, especially in the SEC this year, from top to bottom, anybody can get beat, or they can get close to getting beat, and we've seen that from A&M a little bit this season, where they struggled against Auburn, played against Mississippi State, 3.5 quarters in that game. They were in a dogfight. Then they ran away with it. This game, they ended up squeezing out of this game with a victory. So I think it's just life in the SEC, and they gotta handle it. They gotta capitalize on winning these ball games, these tough physical ball games, and they have been. So props to them for that. We have to give props to them for that, because I don't think any other team outside of the country, or outside of the SEC in the country, will be able to withstand a season within the SEC, just because you just never know what you're gonna get. And sometimes it's like that in the Big Ten, Big 12 does reminisce that kind of factor as well. I mean, look what we saw with Arizona State. So yeah, I think it happens.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that's definitely week 8 of the college football season, Chris. A lot of great games, of course, and getting down to week 9 of the college football season, and not a lot of other great games coming up this weekend. So me and you're gonna be talking about it for sure. Now, before we head out of here, Chris, we got Chief of the Week for week 8 of the college football season. Go ahead and let you guys know. Chief of the Week for week 8. Chris, I gotta go ahead and do it. This guy found a way to win. Gotta give him props. Chief of the Week goes to Gunnar Stockton. I think what he was able to do with Georgia this week, in beating Ole Miss, is definitely a big feat. He did a great job. Threw for 4 touchdowns. He was 26 for 31, 289 yards through the air. He also ran for a touchdown as well, and ended the game with a 96 6.9 QBR rating this week to beat Ole Miss. So just a gutsy performance, like I had said earlier, Chris, with Gunnar Stockton beating Ole Miss. Found ways to persevere and get the ball out. And hey, that's what you need to do against teams like Ole Miss. And that's what he's also going to have to do if he can make it to the playoffs. He's going to have to help this team score points. And I think his performance definitely paid dividends for the Bulldogs this weekend.
Oh yeah, agreed. He was big time, clutch, a leader. You know, he did what you're supposed to do at home against a team that, you know, the defense is their weakness at Ole Miss. And you want to have a shootout? Well, I feel good about the guys I got. So let's see who's going to be able to have more bullets in the chamber as we get, continue to go through this game and wind down the fourth quarter. And Georgia had a couple more left, and it's because of Gunnar. He was doing what it had to be done. So big shout out to him as he grows up before our eyes, Corey.
Yeah,
he's a young QB, first year starter.
Yeah, and definitely growing up before our eyes right now. So definitely shout out to Gunnar Stockton and what he could do, and taking down that Ole Miss team that's, man, they were coming into this game scoring a lot of points. They had that little blunder of a Washington State game. Washington State themselves, they got close over the weekend. I forgot who they had played, but
Virginia.
Yeah, it was Virginia. maybe maybe they were trying to tell us something. So yeah, man. Coming into this game, it was definitely going to be an interesting ball game between both of these two quarterbacks in Trinidad Chambers and Gunnar Stockton. But Gunnar did take care of business at the end of the day. I thought that was very telling, very eye-opening for what he can do for Georgia this season.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, man. But like I said, Chris, another great week. College football, week 8 is in the books, and now we're just getting set for week 9 of the college football season. So can't wait to talk about that. Before we get out of here, folks, we appreciate you guys listening in to the show. We got a couple of outros. I'll go ahead and start off with Chris. Chris, let the good folks know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, holla at your boy on X at Chris_Bolton_12 and on Instagram at Chris.Bolton_. Tap in with me.
Nice. Yeah. And we also we're getting closer to the World Series. I think the World Series is coming up this Friday. So yeah, I know you're gonna be locked and loaded and talking about that.
Yeah,
among a lot of other stuff.
If the Dodgers can try to go back to back.
Yeah. That's gonna be the interesting story to talk about. So yeah, definitely follow Chris on MLBBro.com.
Yes, sir.
He does great work there. So yeah. And folks, you can find me on X at Listen to KSW. I'm on there talking college football, professional wrestling. We just had AEW Wrestle Dream on Saturday. It was a interesting show. We got Mercedes Moné, Chris. She's collecting titles like Infinity Stones. Oh man, but yeah, definitely follow me on there, folks. So yeah. But yeah, folks, we appreciate you guys listening in to the show. You know where to find us. Definitely follow us on all of our available social media applications that we're on. Of course, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All of that good stuff. We appreciate you guys' support as always. Chris and I, we will be back. I'd say we'll work towards a schedule. We'll probably have some things on the horizon for maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday. So we'll chime in with y'all, give you a little update, and we'll go from there. as we get ready for week 9 of the college football season. Man, week 9.
Already.
Exactly. But yeah, we will definitely chime with y'all then, give y'all some updates, and we'll go from there. But until next time, I'm Corey Willis. He's Chris Bolton. You are listening to the Breakdown Sportscast. We'll chat with y'all later.
Peace.
Peace.